New at 6, the Secretary of State is asking county election departments to look into the citizenship of registered voters.
10 on 5 Stephanie Rosales spoke to local elections departments about how they're getting it done.
The Cameron County Elections Department is busy. Early voting is underway, and now department staff are tasked with digging through their voter rolls.
This is an extra step that we're having to dedicate staff to do so that we can promptly issue notices if they're required.
The Elections Department is issuing notices to more than 6 registered voters. The task is by the order of the Texas Secretary of State.
We've received these types of requests in the past, but they've been more individualized. This is the first time in many years that we've received a bulk listing of names.
Remy Garza is the Cameron County Elections Administrator. He says he received a list of 68 people, the state flagged as potential non-citizens who are registered to vote. The state used a federal database known as the SAVE database to compile their list. It's used to verify immigration status and U.S. citizenship.
Our initial steps are going to be to pull the registration records of these individuals, and if we can find any corresponding documentation that they have identified themselves as citizens, either through a naturalization certificate or a passport that was presented to us, then we would not necessarily issue a notice to them.
People who receive a notice have 30 days to respond with proof of citizenship. If they don't respond, the Elections Department will label them as ineligible to vote. Their eligibility can be reinstated if they present proof of citizenship at a later date. Garza says receiving a letter doesn't mean that the county is alleging that you aren't a citizen. It could just mean there's conflicting information on record.
This kind of generalized approach is very concerning.
David Frumkin is an assistant professor at the University of Houston Law Center. He says information databases in general are unreliable.
Political scientists have found that there's a high error rate in relying on these databases for a number of reasons, including measurement error, errors in the database itself, but also errors in the matching of names in the database.
He says people with the same name could be flagged as discrepancies. The Secretary of State says they found 236 potential non-citizens in the valley. Hidalgo County had the highest. In a statement, the Hidalgo County Elections Administrator says her department is also sending notices to people identified on their list. For Garza, his office is busy checking the eligibility of voters.
That's what we're doing right now. We're not just turning around and issuing notices to all 68 of these people. We want to do some investigation on our part because it's my responsibility to maintain the rules for Cameron County.
The Cameron County Elections Department plans to be done with that verification process of the people on that list by the end of the week. If they cannot get that verification, they plan to send those letters out by next week. In Brownsville, Stephanie Rosales, Channel 5 News at 6.
We also reached out to Starr and Willacy County Elections Department for comment. We did not receive a response. The Secretary of State says if people who are identified as non-citizens are found to have voted, their information will be referred to the Attorney General's office.